So it is the day after Christmas, and I thought that I would go ahead and just vlog this week after Christmas, even though it's probably going to be super boring, because I'm on vacation and I'm planning on making this kind of be a self-care week. So, but I thought I'm going to be doing a lot of knitting this week, so I can share that with you guys, and I can use this as a time I can show you like what we got for Christmas, as well as kind of how my knitting has gone for the past year. And so I'm going to do that throughout the week, I think. And then if we do anything for New Year's, which I'm not sure that I'm going to, I have no idea what we're going to do, include that as well. So like I said, this is just going to be kind of a post-Christmas week after vlog. I am feeling quite a bit better today. I got a lot of sleep last night, and I have kind of not doing much today. I'm actually doing laundry and doing some dishes because we were kind of running out of clothes because I'd been sick and I just hadn't been able to do the laundry. It's in the basement, so trying to carry laundry downstairs when I was as sick as I was, that was not going to happen. But I am still getting kind of tired pretty quickly, so I'm just really resting today for the most part. But I did want to show you, I had mentioned that I finished a pair of vanilla socks yesterday, really at Christmas dinner, and I wanted to show you those, and these are the socks that I finished. This is just a vanilla sock. The yarn is Knit Picks Felici, and I believe the colorway is called Toucan, and no, they don't match, but that's okay. I knit these just out of one 50-gram ball because I do not have very big feet. So if I use a 50-gram ball and then like contrasting color for the heels, cuffs, and toes, I get a decent sock. So these are a decent length sock. And then I did use, this is Knit Picks Stroll in the Dandelion colorway as my contrasting heels, cuffs, and toes. So yeah, so those are the socks that I finished. I did finish casting off last night my Dust of Snow wrap, which I am going to put in for a little bit of a bath today, because I do want to soak that and get that blocked and drying this week as well. And then I have been working on this morning. I've really just been watching Vlogmas this morning and sitting in my chair, and I drank some chai latte, and I've been working on my winter rose socks. And so this is, I'm not super far. I did the cuff, and I've done like I think 3 repeats of the pattern here. And yeah, this colorway is Christmas at Hogwarts, the 2018 Christmas at Hogwarts from Molly of a Homespun House, and it's just this really beautiful rich plum color, which I think is amazing. I just think it's so beautiful. So yeah, this is my Christmas Eve cast on progress. So I'm gonna keep going on my laundry and probably throw in that Dust of Snow wrap in for a little bit of a bath, and I will talk to you guys in a little while. So one thing that I wanted to show you is my mom takes art classes, and her instructor is a really amazing painter, and she commissioned this photo of my dad to be painted for my brother and I for Christmas. And for those of you who've been watching this channel for a while, or you actually know me in real life, you know that my dad passed away about 2 years ago. And so even though it's our 3rd Christmas without him, it's still really hard, and we still really miss him. And this painting is just amazing, and it captures my dad perfectly. He always wore, I called it his Indiana Jones hat, but he always wore that hat. That expression is like my dad to a T, and this was his coat that he always wore, and he loved to be outside. And it took all of our breath away, and it brought tears to our eyes, and it's just such a beautiful rendering of my dad and such a lovely tribute to him. Good morning. It is Thursday, December 27th, and I am starting off my morning by drinking a chai latte in this Falala Llama mug that my kids got me for Christmas, which is gigantic, and my chai latte, like, it fills up half of it because I don't want that much chai latte in the morning. But it is so cute and so awesome, and I really, really like it. And then I am getting ready to turn the heel on my winter rose socks. So yesterday I knit the entire leg and the heel flap. And so I'm going to be turning the heel this morning. I haven't done a heel flap and gusset on socks in quite a while, so it's kind of nice to do one again. And I really do think that this sock is turning out beautifully. It is a beautiful pattern, and this yarn is very beautiful as well. So I'm really enjoying knitting on this. I am finally getting my dust of snow wrap in for a good soak so that I can block it and then cut off the ends, because I did weave in the ends as I went with this. There's way too many ends to have to weave in at the end, so I thought, oh, I'll do it as I go, so that I can, kind of block this out and get it ready to be finished. Hi guys, it's Friday, December 28th now, and it is a really gray and gloomy day today, but it's quite warm. It's actually in the 50s. The temperatures are supposed to start to fall later this evening, but right now it's really quite warm. And I'm actually going to go out and do a little treating of myself and have a pedicure done, because I need to have that done pretty badly. I have had a really relaxing couple of days after Christmas. It's been really nice to have this time that I can just relax and do what I want to do. I have knit almost the entire first winter rose sock, which was my Christmas Eve cast on. I'm going to work on the toe while I'm getting my pedicure, and I will show you guys that a little bit later. I'm not going to pull it out right now because I've got it packed up and ready to go. I watched all 3 Lord of the Rings movies over the last 3 nights, which was a lot of fun. I had forgotten how much I enjoyed those movies and how much I enjoyed that story. So that was a lot of fun to do, and I got a lot of knitting done because those are long movies. That's where most of the knitting on those socks came from. But it has just been a really nice and really relaxing few days, and I am just looking forward to enjoying that time that's left, and I think that will really recharge me going into the new year and a new semester and all of that. So I'm going to go get a pedicure. So I have in my hand all of these ends, which means that I finally finished my dust of snow wrap. So I'm going to show you it in this video because it's really big. There it is in all its glory. It's not super wide because I did decrease the number of stitches that the pattern called for, and because I was not using mohair, I used a smaller needle size. But yeah, so this is the completed, oops, sorry about that. This is the completed dust of snow wrap. I'm happy with how it turned out. There's a few colors that don't really go, like this kind of coppery color is kind of a weird color. Not a super fan of this pink. I'm not a pink person, and then the speckling in it was just a little strange for me. It's just not really my color choice. But all the rest of it, I really like how it came together. I really enjoyed knitting it. I thought it was a really nice way to use up Advent minis. Hi guys, it's December 30th, and I wanted to just take a couple of minutes and kind of go through my knitting statistics for the year and show you some of the projects that I've been working on through Vlogmas and how those have come along, and talk a little bit about my knitting goals for 2019. So let's start with the projects that I've been working on through Vlogmas that you've seen that, well, one has come to completion, and that was my dust of snow wrap. And I did put in a little bit of a little video before this showcasing that, but the wrap is complete. And it's not quite as wide, I think, as I had hoped it would be, but I still think it will, it's a nice, nice to kind of wrap up in, and it's not super big, and you could even, do a super long scarf. Actually, that doesn't look too bad. Maybe I'll just wear it like that. Anyway, I'm happy with how it turned out. There were a couple of colors that I talked about just didn't seem to really fit in. super well. But yeah, it is finished, and this actually makes a really nice scarf like this. I think that's how I will wear this. It's just really kind of light and not super bulky. So yeah, I think that'll be a good scarf. So that's finished. The other thing that I've been working on and that I showed you a little bit was my Christmas Eve cast on. And I have really been spending a lot of time knitting on these. And they were the Winter Rose socks, which is a pattern by Helen Stewart. And I was using my 2018 Christmas at Hogwarts colorway from a homespun house. And I have one completely finished, and this is the sock. And I absolutely love how this turned out. I love this colorway. It is such a nice, rich, plummy purple, and it is showing up really true to color on the camera. So this is really accurate of what it looks like. And the pattern is really beautiful and really engaging and nice. And I did a heel flap and gusset, which isn't something I typically do, but I followed the pattern pretty much exactly. The only change that I made is that I did a rounded toe instead of a wedge toe, because that fits my foot quite a bit better than a wedge toe. So I chose that. But this is the finished one. The second one, I just picked up the stitches for the heel flap. So it's in kind of like a weird state at the moment. But I've done the entire leg, and now I'm working on going into the foot. And I do not know if I will have this completed by the end of the year. There's a good chance that I will, because I still have most of today and tomorrow to work on it. I am going to try. It will depend on a lot of things and what else I end up doing instead, but I have really been enjoying this staycation knitcation. It has been exactly what I have needed, just resting and doing things that I want to do and taking care of myself. And I'm still battling a little bit of the cough that I had. That's still lingering somewhat, but I feel a lot better, and I really feel like it was a really good way to kind of go into 2019 and feel a little bit recharged and refreshed. So it was really exactly what I needed. It was perfect. So the other things that I wanted to talk about is I wanted to talk about my knitting statistics of 2018. Not as productive as 2017, which is understandable because I am now working full-time as a pastor of 2 congregations, and additionally I started school, and so I just don't have the knitting time that I used to have, and that's absolutely okay. I miss the knitting time, but I really love what I do, and I wouldn't trade that for anything. So I have completed 23 projects in 2018. 25 there's still 2 on the needles. So there's a good chance that 24 will be completed. It will not be 25, but there's a good chance it will be 24 if I get those socks done. And I will show you, the other project that is still in progress is my texture time knit along, which I did as the mystery knit along from Stephen West. And I have clue 1 and clue 2 totally done, and then half of clue 3, and then I still have to do the other half. And I plan to pick this up and work on this after I finish my Winter Rose socks, because I would like to get this completed, because this has just been kind of a fun and crazy knit. So yeah, this is the part that I have finished recently with clue 3, and I have to do that again on the other side here. And this was really interesting. Stephen West is such a genius with shawl construction, and so it was really interesting. And I still have all of these crazy ends, which I'm still not sure what's going to end up happening with those. So and it looks like a sea monster to me. It looks to me like, I don't know, a sea creature. Do you see it? I totally see it. So that's how that is coming along. So to break down those 23 completed projects, 16 of them were socks. We'll say 16 and a half, because I'm going to go for 17. I want to finish that, because if I do, I will have completed another box of socks, which is 12 socks for me, which is a knit along hosted by Kristen of Vine. And So if I finish those, I will have my full box of socks for myself. However, I did knit 16 pairs of socks. So 5 of those pairs were for other people. I knit the kids each 1 pair of socks, and I knit David 2 pairs and his daughter 1 pair. So that's where the other socks went. So 16 pairs of socks, 3 garments, which was I'm pretty proud of. I knit 3 sweaters in 2018. My goal was 4, but once I started school, I knew that that 4th sweater wasn't going to happen. But that will be cast on in 2019. So I'm looking forward to that as well. So I was pretty proud of 3 garments, especially with how busy I have been. 2 of those were knit at annual conference and when I had my surgery. So I think that's why that many actually got done in addition to everything else. I only knit 3 shawls this year, which is kind of low. I usually knit more shawls than that. Socks were obviously the big thing, mainly because they're portable and I do a lot of knitting in the car. So I think it's the portability that makes the socks the most knit thing. There is a 4th shawl that's in the works, which is this one, but that doesn't count because it's not going to be done. So 3 shawls and 1 cowl, which was my half dozen roses, which I think I have worn on Vlogmas and talked about a little bit. But I really like that pattern. I'm pretty sure I talked about it. So those are my knitting statistics for 2018. 2019, the first goal is going to be finish that texture time. I do want to knit the Comfort Fade cardigan. That was the 4th garment that I had planned to knit in 2018, and that's going to be probably the first thing that I cast on in 2019. For the rest of 2019, I don't really have any specific things in mind right now. I did a Make 9 last year, and I think I knit 6 of the items on there. So I did pretty well with that, but I don't really want to restrict myself. And what I'd really like to do is kind of go through my Ravelry queue and just get some projects out. So I was thinking it might be kind of fun to use a random number generator. I talked about doing this last year and it didn't end up happening. And having it pick numbers of patterns and then knitting that. But I want to also knit from stash. I don't necessarily want to buy a bunch of new yarn. That's another one of my knitting goals, is to not buy a ton of yarn. I did pretty well in 2018, and I think I might try to keep track of that in 2019 and be a little bit more cognizant of yarn purchases and whatnot. And if I'm actually using it, because I'm not knitting a ton, I don't want to necessarily accumulate a lot of excess yarn, and I'd like to knit through a lot of what I have. So that will also be a factor with some of the projects that I will be working on. One of the things that I do want to try in 2019 is I want to do an afterthought heel in a pair of socks, which is scary to think about cutting into my yarn. That's a little terrifying. But I think I'll just do it with like a ball of Knit Picks Felici that I don't really care that much about, and that will be my test. So I want to do an afterthought heel. I don't know if I will like it, and it's okay if I don't, but I at least want to try it. I'd like to try some color work as well in 2019, and maybe some knitting with beads. Kristen of Vollenvine put out a sparkling cider hat, which I really like, and I would like to knit. I did not knit any hats in 2018 somehow, so I'd like to knit that because it's really pretty, and I could use another hat. So that is something that is on my mind to knit. Whether I will do it or not, I don't know. But that would require a purchase because I would need mohair to go with that, and I do not have any mohair. But that's not a big deal. It's like 1 skein of yarn, so that would not be a huge purchase. The other last thing that I wanted to show you, and then I think I will probably close out this Vlogmas, is I wanted to show you my progress on my scrappy blankets. So I have 2 scrappy blankets going on. One is the Cozy Memories blanket, and I realized I'm in the middle of a square, so I apologize about that. But I finally reached the point where it is as wide as I want it to be. So look at this. I'm starting to square it off. So it is, if you can kind of see the width, it goes from here over to here. So that's the width that I want. So it's really more like a throw size. It's not going to be super, super huge, which is fine. That's how I want it. I can always make it bigger if I choose to. And I did the stair step pattern, so I think it's easier to show it this way, actually. Yeah, that's a lot easier. Yeah, so this is the width. And then now I have gone like this. And I did a lot of work on it this year. I was pretty happy with the amount that I put into it. Now that I'm not knitting with specific project goals in mind, I think I'll be able to devote more time to this because I can just, put it on hold. And I think I will go back to, Sunday being Scrappy Sunday and just really making some progress on this. So I'm very pleased with this and how it's turning out. And of course, it's a good time of year to work on blankets because it's chilly. The other one is my granny stripe blanket. And this one is very, very wide. So I will have to show it to you in pieces. I did it to cover a queen size bed. So it's very wide. And I have I'm in the middle of the row. So I have my magic knot ball kind of in the way. So it has grown since last year. It takes up the whole screen now. I think last year it was down in here. But this is the granny stripe blanket. So I really have been enjoying this, and this is a really nice size that kind of drapes over your lap as you're working on it. But I am into this really bright neon section, and it is very it's crazy with colors, but that's okay because that's the whole point of it, is to knit up the scraps. And yeah, this is the magic knot ball, and this is highlighter yellow, so it's totally blown out. Hard to see what that color looks like. And that's how I work on that, is I just make up a bunch of magic knot balls and knit off of that with leftovers. I put a square in this first because this obviously only uses a certain amount of yarn, and then I put the rest of it, if there's not a ton of it, into the magic knot ball. If there's a lot, then I make minis, and I have a whole stash of minis that I need to do something with. So that's kind of my knitting in 2018 also.